Genetics is the study of heredity, which is the passing of traits from parents to offspring. These traits are determined by genetic information that is carried within the DNA molecules of an organism's chromosomes. Inheritance refers to the process by which traits are passed down from one generation to the next. This occurs through the transmission of genes from parent to offspring. Genes are specific regions of DNA that code for particular traits or characteristics, such as eye color or height. Each individual has 2 copies of each gene, one inherited from each parent. The combination of these genes determines the individual's traits. There are 2 types of genes: dominant genes and recessive genes. Dominant genes are those that are expressed even if only one copy is present, while recessive genes are only expressed if 2 copies are present. In addition to dominant and recessive genes, there are also sex-linked genes and multiple alleles, which can further influence inheritance patterns. The study of genetics and inheritance has important implications for fields such as medicine, agriculture, and conservation biology, as it allows us to understand how traits are inherited and how they can be manipulated or controlled. Inheritance can be classified into 2 types. 1. Single gene inheritance, caused by a variation, mutation, in a single gene, such as cystic fibrosis or sickle cell anemia. 2. Multifactorial inheritance, caused by a combination of genetic and environmental factors, such as diabetes and obesity. Inheritance is also characterized by different patterns. 1. Autosomal dominant. A single copy of the mutated gene from one parent is enough to inherit the disorder. 2. Autosomal recessive. 2 copies of the mutated gene, one from each parent, are required to inherit the disorder. 3. X-linked dominant or recessive. The mutation occurs on the X chromosome, leading to different inheritance patterns in males and females. Modern genetics has provided many tools for studying inheritance and genetic diseases such as DNA sequencing and gene editing. Understanding genetics and inheritance has major implications for many fields, including medicine, agriculture, and biodiversity conservation. In addition to genes, there are other factors that can influence inheritance patterns, such as epigenetic modifications and environmental factors. Epigenetic modifications are changes to the DNA molecule and its associated proteins that can affect gene expression without changing the underlying DNA sequence. Environmental factors, such as diet, exercise, and exposure to toxins, can also affect gene expression and thus influence inheritance patterns. Genetic disorders are caused by mutations or changes in genes. These mutations can be inherited from one or both parents, or they can occur spontaneously during an individual's lifetime. Some genetic disorders are caused by mutations in a single gene, while others are caused by mutations in multiple genes or by a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Genetic testing is a powerful tool that can be used to identify genetic disorders and to predict an individual's risk of developing certain conditions. Genetic testing can also be used to determine an individual's carrier status for certain genetic disorders, which can be useful in family planning. Finally, genetic engineering is a rapidly advancing field that involves manipulating the genetic material of organisms in order to create desired traits or to correct genetic disorders. Genetic engineering has the potential to revolutionize fields such as medicine and agriculture, but it also raises ethical and social concerns that need to be carefully considered.